we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for tuning in. It feels like it's been a while since we've had a commission meeting, so it's good to see you all. Don't think we have any new commissioners or need for introductions, so we'll go ahead and skip past that and move into approving this month's agenda.
Need a motion to approve it? If so, I motion to approve.
Okay, we got a
And
motion
I'll
and we got a second. Okay, and let me get my screen up so I can see you all. All in favor of approving August 2021's meeting agenda? Signify by aye or yay in the chat.
Aye.
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 Okay, I see the thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, so that is unanimous. Agenda is approved. Let's go ahead and review July 2021's meeting minutes, and then I'll take a motion to approve when ready.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the July 2021 meeting minutes, signify by aye, please.
Aye.
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 I see some thumbs up. Great. All right, we got unanimous. Wonderful. Well, that was quick and easy. Like I said, it's so good to see you all. It's so hard to do Zoom and screen share and look at the documents at the same time.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So continuing business, update about girls coding camp. So a lot has happened since I think we last were able to update you all in June. So we are, there we go. Now you can all see. We are moving forward with girls coding camp for 2021. It is a fall after school program beginning September 10th. And running through October 29th. We have 3 confirmed locations in person. The Mill on Fridays from 4:30 to 6 with instruction from our Ivy Tech faculty and our interns we have interns from the Center of Excellence for Women in Tech. We have the Boys and Girls Club on Lincoln Street. And I believe, Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they're going to be on Wednesdays.
That was the preferred date. I confirmed that would work with our interns. So yes.
Okay. And then we also have Edgewood Junior High. They're still toggling between Mondays and Wednesdays, but their time will be 2:30 to 3:30 at the middle school. So we do have 3 locations. We are in the process of preparing all of the marketing materials. So IU Strategic Communications Department through Enrollment Management is working on all of the materials and should have those to us soon. They did create the landing page for us. They did create, they're updating the flyer that we used last year. They created the survey so that we can capture evaluation data, which mirrors the survey that we collected or that we used last year. So we'll have some comparisons that we can do. And they're doing one more thing. They're creating the actual registration link where families, parents will register their students. Okay. I see you have a question, Peter.
Yes. Would you be able to put the landing page in the chat? Or just for the public record, I think it'd be nice to have that so that people can navigate there.
Yes, I can once we have it. We don't have it yet. The team is still building it. But once we have it, I'll send it out to all of you. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me for jumping the gun.
No, you're fine. They're working on all of the things and we'll get it sent to us. They like to send it to us in a package deal. So we'll likely get registration link, landing page, survey, flyer all in one big sweep. So I'll let you know. I'll share as soon as we have it.
Michelle, can I ask a quick question? Are we using the after-school app that we used last year or no?
We're not, because it would have taken a significant hurdle to get MOUs signed and all the things with the short timeline.
Okay,
So we're just gonna run it through IU this year.
thanks.
What else? So an update as far as the curriculum that we're creating. Ivy Tech faculty have been super excited about just saying, we'll prepare all the curriculum for you, but we're doing that in partnership with another entity on campus, Serve IT. So they're both kind of building out curriculum, and they're using the same resources. We'll kind of look and see what's the best way to flesh it all out. If certain locations, depending on the capacity of the instructors, if they want to use different lessons, they absolutely can. We're just looking for some consistency as far as topics that are covered. So we'll end up having a brainstorming meeting with those groups. I've reached out to all of the people who are working with curriculum. So we just need to get that meeting set up and solidified. In the past, we've given out Raspberry Pi and Ozobots. This year, we are not doing that because we do not have funding. So we're going to run this free. It's still a free camp. We're going to run this more of coding instruction, critical thinking. A lot of stuff will be done on a device, which students will have from their schools. But a lot of this stuff will also be hands-on activities. One thing that's different about, so we always try to have them leave with something tangible, like something that they walk away from camp with. This year is going to look a little bit different. So our faculty at Ivy Tech are going to help them all create their own web pages. So they'll do the coding and design for the web page. We're connecting it back to, so they'll be given a prompt, which I would love to brainstorm with the Women's Commission, what prompt we want to give them. But we'll be giving them a prompt that's connected to a social justice issue that impacts women. Okay, so they'll be given this task to build a web page, code, and do all the things to create this web page that specifically addresses an issue that is important to them that impacts girls and women. Does not have to be a local issue. Yeah, does not have to be a local issue. Okay, so if we have ideas for topics, like if we think about like, okay, let's give them a list of 10 topics and let them pick from this, or we can leave it kind of open-ended and let them reach for the stars and create whatever they want to create. What do you all think? Should we give them a list of topics or should we leave it free range?
I think a list of topics could be helpful. There's just so much to choose from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Rema. I was thinking a list of possible topics that can help stimulate their own ideas,
Okay.
but not limited if they come up with something that's outside of that. But
Okay.
it's nice to have a nice starting point to get them thinking. And then, some people just want to take one of those, great. If someone's really creative and wants to go outside that, it's just about the learning, right? So.
Okay. Great. Any other thoughts or questions? So Girls Coding Week is moving forward, lots happening and happening quickly. One thing I should note is that when you register, for the purposes of COVID and being able to make a smooth transition to virtual, I'm going to limit the registration for each camp at a capacity of 15. Okay, that will make it easy that if we do have to pivot in between September and October, we'll be able to pivot, get them into something easy to manage, still have the ability to manage them and support them as they build web pages, but in a virtual format. So we're going to do a capacity of 15, which for our camp total gives us a capacity of 45. So each location will have a capacity of 15. When you register, you will only be able to select one location. Once that location is full, it comes off of the registration list. Okay, and so our strategic communications team is handling all of the registration. Go ahead, Michelle.
I just didn't want to forget. I just want to remind that we have some leftover swag from last year. Haven't done an inventory in a while. It's been, it's sitting in a big box. As you may recall, one of the difficulties was it was branded with last year's date. So it is outdated, but it might just be nice to have some extra freebies for people who are interested. So I just want to remind people that that's available, and we should be thinking about how to distribute that.
Okay. Thanks for bringing that up. We'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
That brings me to another good point, though. Any expenses that are incurred for the workshops. So some of the activities that the students will be doing will be like building aluminum boats and like using pennies to see if like if you can get the boat to float and all the things. So those small expenses, we don't have a budget this year for, well, we don't have funding this year for Girls Coding Camp. So I'm just going to sponsor those things, and not in my commissioner hat, but from the garden. We'll just sponsor that. And so we'll be coming up with a comprehensive list, but it's going to be important that we have this data, how much it costs us to run this camp, because we should be pitching this to our Board of Commissioners office for the next budget cycle to be able to get some funding or at least some support from the actual commissioners. Don't know if it's guaranteed, but we should have that conversation. So the numbers are going to be really important this year.
Michelle, you and I can talk offline if you need some additional support financially for materials. See what can probably help with that.
Okay, great. That's great. Any questions about Girls Coding Camp? Go ahead, Peter.
I really am excited about the websites that are going to be built. And I know my colleagues on the county council and the Board of Commissioners probably will be too. So it would be fun to think about how we can ensure that we all get to see these websites someday, and maybe even get to talk to the students if that's possible.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. We haven't thought about introducing our students to county leadership. So that's a good thing. That's a good thought. Okay, any other thoughts or questions about girls coding? Okay, moving to our next agenda item. Women's Equality Day is coming up very soon. This is also August 2021 is our 10-year mark as the Women's Commission. Do we have any updates or any thoughts about the Women's Equality Day celebration? And I believe Becky and Nicole. Oh, go for it.
Oh, yeah, since Nicole is not on, I can just give a breakdown of what we have so far. So from the last meeting, I know, and Nicole spoke about it, that we had 2 dates, like the weekend of the 26th in mind, so that we could be like a Friday or Saturday. But after myself and Nicole spoke, so we're thinking of Saturday in the afternoon, so that way everyone is available, and making it virtual, so that way it saves us costs as well. So Jessica connected us to the County Board of Commission, I think Elsa, sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, and Andrew, if we can use the Facebook page to do the virtual live. Yeah, so they agreed to it, and we going to do like a training on how to do the logistics and running of Facebook Live, since both of them will not be around that day.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're having the training next week, Friday. So that will be ready for 28. So we'll send out everything, like create an event page at least by next week, me and Nicole. So we're looking for commissioners. Nicole knew some people from other boards in Bloomington that could join. But if anyone in our board can, want to volunteer to be part of the panel that day, we'll send out a list of questions. Let me see if I can share it on the chat. So people, I don't know how to put a picture. I wanted to share like a screenshot because we created like a pamphlet.
Mm,
yeah, can be shared that day, and also have a list of questions. I'll send it out as an email to everyone to see. So you can also provide feedback as well. So far, yeah, that's where we are on the Women Equality Day, and that's August 28th. We're thinking around 3 p.m. So if anyone has like suggestions to it as well on what to do more on the virtual platform, that would be nice. And also if you are tech savvy in regards to Facebook Live, because I've never done it, and Nicole either, but we're going to get training on it. But that's the first time. So if you have someone that is tech savvy, would really help out a lot. But yeah,
Becky,
yes.
Becky, this is Michelle. It sounds like a great event. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Sounds like the content is of what you're actually doing on that day is a panel. Is that correct? Is that how I understand it? Okay,
Yes.
sounds wonderful. Two things. I have a fair amount of experience doing Facebook Live events because I teach jazzercise, and during pandemic, that's how I do it. So
Okay.
I'm happy to talk with you about that. The weekend that you guys are choosing, unfortunately for me, I'm out of commission. That is the weekend we train our intern staff. I have about 50, so I am out like that weekend working on that. So I can't help you live, but I certainly can. Sounds like you got someone lined up for training, but I just wanted to offer myself out there too, because I do that a fair amount, 3 times a week.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the board thinks. Should we still stick to the August 28th, or just because of, yeah, the only scary part for me and Nicole was that none of us know it's an expert on the Facebook Live. But we can, from the training, I don't know how complicated it is, if it's just a straightforward thing, but I guess we could be good.
It is pretty
So,
straightforward.
yeah, Becky, it should be fine. Did you say that you're getting training from Monroe County staff?
Yeah, so the names are Elsa and Andrew Lambert.
Okay, so Monroe County Tech Services, they are all exceptional and phenomenal and will make it really simple. They're going to tell you exactly what they need, or what you'll need. They'll tell you what to click and where to go. So I wouldn't want you to change the date of your event based on tech needs, because you have a good team that will support you.
Oh, great. Thanks for that. Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the actual event though. So it's a panel. Who's on your panel? And I'm happy to volunteer for it as well.
Yeah. So Nicole has the names of the people that are not part of the Women's Commission Board. There's another board that she's part of. I can't recall the names, but
Okay.
we needed like volunteers from our panel, from our board to be on the panel so that way we can make more visibility of the board out to people. And also the main like questions on like some of the questions that we'll ask the board will be like, how is the commissioners or how is the board helping the women of Monroe County? What's the gain? What's the impact? And also related to Women Equality Day. So it would be nice if we can get like some people from our board, but we didn't have anyone from our board yet.
Okay.
So that's one of the questions. Yeah.
I'm happy to support and be on the panel. If you want to, well, when you get a chance, if you can send out all of the materials so that we can get it to the rest of the commissioners as well, even if they don't have the capacity to serve as panelists, they can distribute information. We can start pubbing it online, sharing with our networks to increase our participants. But it sounds like it's going to be great. And I am thinking probably that it's in partnership with the Bloomington Commission on the Status of Women, which is where Nicole is liaising from. So that's great. We love working with them.
Great. Okay.
Great
Yeah.
work, Becky.
Thanks.
Peter.
I just wanted to echo Nichelle's wisdom. Let us know when this is, alive, and we'll share the heck out of it. We'll make sure
Okay.
people are there.
I think at least before Tuesday, that's what we're thinking about. Yeah, we'll
Okay.
send everything out so that we can start publicizing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great work. I'm excited. Any other questions about Women's Equality Day?
I have a question about, are we still planning to attend? So I volunteered to attend a county council meeting, but I'm not sure how to do that. So it's just a logistics question.
You want to go for that one, Peter?
Unless you want to answer it. But I'm already talking somewhere. If you just go to co.monroe.in.us, there's a calendar right there. And we make sure all of the Zoom links are published on that calendar for every single meeting. So that's the way I actually logged into today's meeting, because I went to the calendar and I found the Women's Commission meeting and I clicked on the Zoom link there. You do the same exact thing for the county council and the county commissioners. It's pretty straightforward. And you can attend any meeting you want. Every meeting is a public meeting. So.
Thank you.
And so Mem, yes, you are attending on the 24th, right? The county council meeting. Wonderful. And then
I'm not in town on the 28th. I'll be in Minnesota.
okay.
I talked about that at the last meeting.
And then it looks like Jessica is covering August 25th at the Board of Commissioners meeting. So this will be good because we'll make sure that you all have all of the information to share about the event on the 28th. Okay. Good stuff. I'm impressed. I'm glad that we got something.
And I'll be at both meetings. So, if you need someone to introduce you or anything like that, just let me know. I'm happy to do anything.
Thank you, Peter. Okay. So if I may ask, can we table the conversation around a special gift for the vice chair? Because I believe that Jessica was leading that effort and we don't have an update on it. Are we okay with that? Okay. So we talked in the past about creating a calendar of what's happening for women in Monroe County. And I think because of the pandemic and people transitioning back into being like in person or maybe even hybrid schedules, I think that we kind of let this one slip a little bit away from us, but I think it could be a great project for us to plan for and actually stand up in January. So like new year, new opportunities, a resource guide to let people know what's happening in Monroe County for women. And this also could be a great way for us to, for the next couple of months, to whisper and sprinkle to some strategic partners like, hey, what are you doing for women in this county? And here's how we want to share, right? So I would like for us to pick it up. I think a subcommittee working on it would be great, right? Brainstorming some ideas of where do we capture events, who do we connect with, how do we get people plugged into this calendar. And even if they don't have exact dates and times, it'll be good to know like Women's History Month happens every year, or the luncheon happens every year in March, or thinking about different events that we know could be that are more routine, thinking about how to get those onto a centralized calendar for people to know. We don't necessarily have to have concrete date and time, but being able to give people a window of opportunity to know like what to expect. So I'd like to see us pick that up at some point if we're if you're interested in working on this, or if you feel like maybe there's a better use of our time. I'd like to hear from you all now. No thoughts?
I think it's a great idea. I think it also helps commissioners who work on this commission know about other events. So, I think it's a great idea. What are the thoughts on where this is going to be shared or how this is going to be shared? Is it going to be on our county page? What's the thinking there? Okay.
I think it should be on the county websites. You should be able to go or Google what's happening for women in Monroe County, and it should link you to the county website as a resource. Okay, we'll keep talking about this, but my goal is to have something in place, at least a pretty good skeleton by the start of the new year. You'll notice, words are really hard today. You'll notice that the names of people that we were going to invite as guest speakers got shifted by a month. I did not follow up with Dr. Marquet Winston to have her here in August. So I will extend that invitation for September. So everyone got moved back a month. Erin Predmore actually is transitioning. So we are currently looking for a new president and CEO of the Chamber of Bloomington. So that actually will probably be a new slot to fill since she is transitioning out of Bloomington, Monroe County. So we'll want to think about who would we want to invite as an October speaker. And you all can send me those invitations or those names, and we can figure that out. I'm not recalling, did we come up with a plan of who's contacting who on the list? No? Okay.
Good plan.
So I'm happy to reach out to all of these people on behalf of the commission. I will say I do not have contact information or connections to Deborah Morrow. So if someone who does know them, if they could send me some contact information or even whisper and sprinkle that, hey, you'll be getting this invitation from Michelle soon, that'd be great. I don't really like cold calling people. So if we can build a connection with Deborah, that would be great. And then, so the new resident resource project is closely connected with the Monroe County calendar. So we don't really have to talk about that as a separate agenda item. But I know we talked about a commissioner's mixer, and I know we were waiting to see if there was funding in our county budget to be able to pay for this. I know that Jessica was looking into this, and I don't have an update on that just yet. So I don't have any new updates to share, but would we still be interested in hosting a commissioner's mixer as a way to celebrate our 10-year anniversary?
So I think I hate to say it again, but I think it's a great idea. I do have a little bit of hesitancy as things seem to be escalating again with masking and increased caution. I know there's going to be some hesitancy about an in-person event. You can do a virtual mixer. It's not the same kind of impact. And I think after a year and a half into this, people aren't feeling like they want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We could still do it in honor of our celebration when we're feeling a little more confident about in person. But I think we're all starting to feel a little hesitancy because we might be going down another dark path here shortly, and concerned about putting too much into a plan without. And I'm not sure because I missed the last meeting if you had talked about a time frame. But anything this fall is seeming a little tentative right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how others feel. I'm starting to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the events that, so go ahead.
No, go ahead, Peter.
I'm so sorry. A lot of the events that I'm seeing are being scheduled outdoors as much as possible right now due to what Michelle is talking about. There's just so much uncertainty.
And I know we talked or was discussed in the last meeting that we would consider planning it before October to be able to do it outdoors and with weather that would be tolerable. We could look at doing it as thinking about something that already exists, like the people of Switchyard, like, how they do those celebrations at the amphitheater, or like Food Truck Friday. We could send out a mass invitation that says, hey, the Women's Commission is going to be at Food Truck Friday on this particular day. Come and hang out with us, visit our table, check out our tent, right? So we don't necessarily have to plan something that's entirely separate. We could use something that already exists, make it an intentional effort, and then think about or making an intentional invitation and think about what can we do to add to the experience. There seems to be a lot of good outdoor opportunities happening at Switchyard. Okay. And then that's really all that I have for you all. I see from our July meeting minutes, we had the walk in my shoes experience, and Mim and Jessica were going to create ideas for sponsors around this experience. Mim, do you have an update on that? No updates? Okay. Wow, this is the first time that we've gotten through an agenda in 35 minutes. I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. So I'd like to open up the floor for any commissioner comments, feedback, or thoughts that we'd like to share at this time. Go ahead, Peter.
There's been some new vaccine data for Monroe County shared by, let me see, the Indiana Health Information Exchange. And if I'd like to share that on the screen if I could.
Yeah, let's make you a co-host. No, I don't do that. It's shocking. I'll stop sharing though.
There you go. I got it. And you all see the browser I've got pulled up?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, well, maybe I should do it. Well, anyway, so there's been some really interesting data that is being shared on this website, ihie.org. And you can find this nice little spread, this little one pager. And I thought it would be interesting to share some of this data because it gives you kind of a good picture of who's vaccinated, where people are living who are vaccinated, and kind of that sort of thing. And as you can see here, I think as it pertains to the Women's Commission, 58% of Monroe County females are vaccinated, whereas only 54% of Monroe County males are vaccinated. So that kind of gives you a good indication of who we need to be targeting for vaccination levels. Can you all hear me okay? I'm getting some feedback.
We can, but could you enlarge it a bit more?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's hard to share on Zoom, but that's helpful. Yeah. I could.
So I won't kind of read everything on the page for you, but I just wanted to share this resource because I think COVID is very top of mind for a lot of people, and vaccines are the way out of this. And so I just wanted to share some of this information. And here you see information by ethnicity and by race. And then on the table down here, I think this is really interesting too. You get a good sense of age ranges, again, by ethnicity and race. And it's all Monroe County specific information. So really interesting data. And then here are some comorbidities, I should say, health conditions for individuals who are fully vaccinated. So again, hooray for Monroe County women. Vaccination rates are higher than men.
Yeah. Peter, where did you say that could be found?
Let me dump that into the chat.
That'd be great.
And then for those watching on CATS, it's ihie.org. And that's the Indiana Health Information Exchange. And then the link that I'll put in the chat is the main site where you can look up data for any Indiana county. And it looks like these sheets are coming out about every other week. So the data will only be about 2 weeks old at its maximum. So I would just encourage you, if people are in your circles who aren't vaccinated, encourage them to get the shot. You can go to rshot.in.gov or call 211.
Thank you for sharing that, Peter. Any other news, questions, things to share or consider? Any comments or thoughts from the public?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Actually, I have a question and a comment. I'm sorry, I don't speak during the meetings. I'm not a commissioner, so I don't know like when it's appropriate to speak up or not. So I just did that.
No, this is perfect.
Listen.
Public comment. This is perfect timing. Go for it, Jamari.
So I really like the idea of having a calendar on the website, especially someone who's relatively new to Bloomington, but trying to find ways to get involved with the community. Since everything has been online still for the most part, it's difficult to find ways to get involved. And so I think having a more accessible way of finding events, finding ways to connect with the community, finding ways to connect with commissioners would be great. I'm not going to assume that other people might feel that way too, but I can't imagine that I'm the only person in Monroe County who feels that way. So I think that
Right.
would be nice too. And it'd be a way for just Monroe County at large to interact with another after a year of being isolated. But to be honest, looking at the website that Peter shared, I'm not too optimistic. 'Cause I mean, 58% and 54% is nice, but it's still pretty much like 50-50 to me. And the fact that everything is going in person, so that's not. I think Michelle said that she was a little bit hesitant about everything going in person. I feel the same way. But still, it would be nice for the opportunity to, see what's going on. And then, oh goodness, I forgot about my question.
Hey, Maury, while you're thinking of that question, thanks for your input. That's really good to hear because sometimes we all decide what we think are good ideas for the community, but having someone say, yeah, I could really use that is really helpful. So Nichelle, I might suggest maybe we set up a Google Doc, and between now and the next meeting, people can individually add items they're aware of for women on a Google Doc just to get us started. I mean, we're talking about it. It's hard to come up with things in the meeting. Plus, we don't want to necessarily take time for brainstorming. But it could be a takeaway task. Between now and the next month, start thinking about those opportunities for women, and rather than wait to the meeting to share it, throw it in some kind of Google Doc or.
Okay, I like that idea. I think it would be a great way to start. And Jay Murray, I echo Michelle's sentiments about thanking you for that comment, because it is great to hear that it would be a useful resource to someone. So thanks. Did you have time, or did you have a chance to recall your question, Jay Murray?
I don't know. I got lost in my train of thought. I think it had something to do with girls coding in the website.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, actually brainstorming the list of ideas. Is this something that you were all working on in the future, or is that something that you were thinking about working on as soon as possible? Because I had some ideas off the top of my head, but I can definitely wait to share in the future.
No, you can absolutely share now. We're here, we have time. It's the perfect place during public comment, so go for it.
Okay, so for website ideas, the first one that came to mind, especially since it's related to girls who code, was a possible website idea would be like discussing technology inequity. It's something that we've noticed more so during the pandemic, that for girls who come from really more so the feminization of poverty, but for girls who live in poor households, come from poor families, their access to technology, their access to online education was more stricter and lower than boys and men. I was also thinking about period poverty, which you see more so about that in like it's worse outside of the US, but it's still a huge issue in America as well, with women and girls being unable to menstrual products, and then being unable to go to school, which also leads to educational inequity. And then there's workplace discrimination. Also, like the gender pay gap, and thinking about coding and gender stereotypes in schools, how girls are more likely to be discriminated against when it comes to STEM courses and STEM classes, which then can impact their career choices in the future. So possibly talking about like gender stereotypes in schools and showing girls that it's okay if you want to be a scientist or a doctor or a mathematician or something like that.
Mhm.
You don't have to go to school just to be a teacher or nurse or whatever field is more is seen as more feminine. So those are some of the ideas. I wish I could have articulated that better, but those were some of the ideas that came to mind. I think it all ties down to the feminization of poverty, even though that's an umbrella term, but there's so many issues underneath that umbrella that still impact women to this day.
Mhm.
We're a highly developed country. Yeah.
So Jay Mari, what I can appreciate about the ideas is that there's a wide range of topics that you throw out there, which is going to be really important because some of those topics are really going to resonate with many different students that we have. So that's great. I love the wide range of variety. And in the past, so I don't think we've said this since you've been joining us, Jay Mari, but in the past, we invite community members who are excited about these projects or who are just interested in getting involved to volunteer with the group that's planning it. That's kind of how Michelle actually got started and joined. That's how Mim kind of got started and joined as a commissioner. So if you're interested and would like to work on coming up with topics and prompts and really helping frame like that portion of Girls Coding Camp, I invite you to let me know, connect with me, and I would love to work with you on those topics.
That would be great. I was thinking about that a few months ago, but I don't, as just a citizen, I don't know what my capacities are when it comes to getting involved. So I just really sit back and listen and think, oh, it's a great idea. I should speak up and say that I want to help, but I really don't know like what I can do, what I'm allowed to do, because I'm not a commissioner. So I feel a little bit powerless in that regard. Because I don't know.
In person, we would disrupt this entire thing because one thing that we are really that we pride ourselves on is when we have those in-person meetings, we invite all of the people to the table. We don't make people sit outside the table of commissioners. Like everyone pulls up a chair. We're all in this together. We're all having conversations. We want feedback. We want thoughts. Now, virtually is a little bit harder to kind of set that tone. But Jay Mari, and for anyone else who is going to watch this recording, we are a commission that believes in community involvement. We are community members as well. We are citizens as well. The only difference is we submitted an application and someone says, okay, your vote on this is going to mean something, right? Like, but we are all, I mean, we're not a commission that runs with the thought or the mindset that only the commissioners have power and only the votes on record matter. We don't believe that. We believe in giving power to all women, all girls. We believe in hearing their voices, receiving their contributions, tailoring our programs to meet community needs. And so what you just modeled right there is exactly what we want to see. And we want more people to join our meetings for that reason. Now, if we end up getting really popular and got like 10,000 people on our Zoom call, okay, maybe we'll have to figure that out. But what you did was perfect. You do not have to apologize. You do not have to apologize for your contributions at any time. That's what we're here for. We are here. And I like how Peter just said, as an elected official, you are my boss. So I continue to speak up. I love your ideas. Yes, we are all working in this together. There is no hierarchy here. So thank you for sharing, and please send me an email so we can get you plugged in with Girls Coding Camp to continue talking about these social justice issues that our students can address.
Okay, that sounds good. And thank you everybody for your kind comments in the chat. I appreciate it.
Of course. Any other thoughts? I think I only see one person from public comment. So any final thoughts before we adjourn today's meeting? Seeing none, this is the first time I have ever wrapped up a Women's Commission meeting this quickly. So we will go ahead and take up a motion to adjourn our meeting at 12:48 p.m.
I move to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
My second.
All in favor of adjourning today's meeting, give me a sign. Aye, thumbs up in the chat.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I don't see anyone opposing. So thank you all. Happy Friday and enjoy your weekend. Great work.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
You too, bye.
Bye, everybody.
And thanks, Kat, and thank Tech Services yet again for being so great.
No problem at all.
Woo!